Hello, welcome back. It's been a minute. But guess what? I got my driver's license. I passed my road test. And let me tell you all about it. Whew. I was nervous as hell. Because my brain just broke. My last driving school class, whatever the fuck it is, it was on August 3rd. So I haven't had any classes since the 3rd until the 30th, which was my test. But I've been practicing with my sister. I've been begging her every time. I'm like, can I drive? You going anywhere? Can I drive you? I'll drive you. Let me practice. Can you practice parallel parking, K-turns, and all the shit? So I've been practicing as much as I can. Stressing my sister out. And so I was like, all right, I think the K-turns and parallel parking finally clicked a week before I took my test. I was like, all right, I think I'm okay. But my hand over hand is still a little goofy, but I can't stand hand over hand because I feel like I'm just gonna go straight into the fucking curb. So I'm getting better at my turns and keeping my speed and all that shit and changing lanes and all that. So the day before, I was so fucking nervous, but I worked 10 to 7, so I had no time to practice. So I was like, you know what? It is what it is. I was watching a lot of videos on YouTube, teaching you everything that you need to know before the test and what's going to be on the test. So I was losing my shit. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be on the test? None of that shit was on the test. So 7 a.m., I had to be out the door to do my 1 hour refresher with my driving teacher. So we were driving from my apartment all the way to Cherry Hill because that's where I took my test. It was 26-minute drive. So I was changing lanes, doing all that shit. It was fucking stop and go traffic. I was like, oh, it was so annoying, but I got a taste of it. So we get the back of the DMV because there's a parking lot, a big strip of stores, and the parking lot was empty. But there was a lot of fucking geese, and I was so scared I was gonna run them over. So we were practicing the K-turns and parallel parking for a good half hour. I was 15 minutes late to my test, but it didn't matter because my test was at 8 a.m. But we didn't get there until 15 minutes later because he kept making me practice the parallel parking and the K-turns and all that shit. So he was like, yeah, you're fine. We do this all the time. You're good. And there was another one in the driving school in the parking lot from the same driving school. So he was like, all right, let's do one more and then let's go. So we went, did it, and then I went to the test. As I'm driving up there, I'm like my heart's ah. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna shit myself. I'm so fucking scared. So we get in line. There's two lines waiting for the test, and then there's a line of people that are done the test waiting for their instructor or whoever came with them to get in the car and drive them to the DMV to get their license. So basically there's 3 lines, but 2 lines for the actual test. So when we got there, I was probably the 4th person in line. So there's a line over here, and then I was in this line, and I was the 4th one here. And then I look behind me 5 minutes later, there's a line of fucking cars behind me. I'm like, when the hell did that happen? And I was asking my instructor, can you just tell me what this test is? What do I do as soon as I start? So he literally explained it to me for a good 5 minutes. He was like, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, and he's like, but it's pretty busy, so they might not make you go on the main roads that much. They might just bring you back around. I was like, oh, please, just let me do that. And he was like, yeah, I was here yesterday with my student, and it was so busy that they just had you just drive out and come back. And I was like, oh, please, let that be me. So there was only 2 examiners, passing or failing you. And there's 2 big dudes. And I was like, oh, fuck, they look mean. They look like they don't want to be here. I'm like, oh, I don't want them to be mean to me. What if I mess up? So, and then there's the first line of the rules. There's this big ass sign in front of you. The first line is everyone stay in their vehicle. these people in front of us kept switching seats. They kept switching and switching. I'm like, who is taking this test? Is it the man or the woman? And then finally, like the third time, the woman got out and stood off to the side. So I'm like, oh, it's the guy taking the test. What the hell? Like, why'd you keep switching? So finally, it's my turn. I'm about to shit myself. My driving teacher was like, all right, good luck. He gave me a fist bump. I'm like, oh, I'm like shaking. I'm so fucking nervous. This big ass burly man gets in my car and I'm like, oh God. And I'm like, hi, how are you? Scared out of my fucking mind. This dude's like this. He puts the seat all the way back and I'm like, oh God. He's like, all right, let's go. I'm like, shit. Like my life flashed before my eyes when he said that. So I'm like, oh God, how do I put this? I'm in park. How do I get to drive? Like I forgot everything. So then I'm like, all right, just calm down. So I put it in drive. There's a stop sign. I stop. Went a little more. There's another stop sign. Stop. And then he said, oh, we're going to turn right. Put my right blinker on. I turned, did my hand over hand. And he was like, all right, we're going to go straight into parallel parking. I'm like, great. So I lined myself up. I do my little trick. And then I stop. And I'm like, because my heart's like fucking pounding. And my examiner was telling me, like, you can take your time. Like, just relax, take your time. So that's what I did. I just stopped and I just went. Once I lined myself up, I was like, all right, remember the 3 R's. I'm like, right blinker, all the way to the right, put it in reverse and start going. and then my, where the 3 cones are, once the last cone gets in the middle of my mirror is when I'm good. So then I was like, all right, I'm good. Now I gotta just turn it all the way to the left and start backing up. And then I got a little too close. I didn't hit anything, but he was like, you're a little crooked. You can start over again. I was like, fuck. Like I started freaking out in my head. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna fail right here. And my heart's like, so I'm like, all right. I got back out of it, redid myself, and then I did it again, and then I got it right. And then I was looking, I was like, park. And then he was like, all right, now go do a K-turn. I'm like, and my instructor gave me a good tip. He's like, as soon as you do your parallel parking, you go into the K-turn, back out of it first so you don't hit the cones in front of you. So I'm like, all right, let's do a K-turn. And I'm like, I have to back out. I have to put it in reverse, back out a little bit. And then I went all the way to the left, put it in drive, all the way to the right, put it in reverse, and then I did all the way to the left again, put it in drive, and then I went up to the stop sign, and they told me to go turn right, so I turned right. There's another stop sign. Stop. There was a car coming. I let that car go because I wasn't going to fucking hit it. And then he said, turn right. I turned right, got into my lane, didn't go into the shoulder, and then he goes, all right, turn right back into the parking lot. And I said, so I turned in there, and then he goes, all right, test is over. And then as soon as I parked to where, I guess it's called like the pickup or whatever. So I parked over there, and he goes, you passed. I went, thank you. I was so fucking scared. I don't think I got anything wrong. He gave me my paper back and what he scored me on. Not like I can really understand it, but if anybody is like an instructor, did I get anything wrong? Did I? I don't think so. Excuse me. I was so fucking strung out after that test. I look over to the driver's side where I'm at, and my instructor, my driving teacher's over there. He goes, give me a thumbs up. And I'm like, and he looked like a proud dad taking pictures. He put it on the driving school Facebook page. He looks like such a proud dad. He's like, I knew you could do it. So then he drove me across the parking lot to my sister. And then we went to get my license. So we went to the DMV. It was like a 20-minute drive. We get there. I was probably there for like 30 minutes. And then I took my picture. And then the lady was like, all right, you just got to wait 20 days for it to come in the mail. I was like, what? You ain't going to hand it to me? Why I got to wait 20 days? But anyway, by the time I got home, it was like 10:30. So I've been out since 7 a.m. Didn't get back until 10:30. I was so fucking thirsty from being so nervous. I was losing my mind. I had to lay down when I got home. I had to lay down. I was strung out. But yeah, now I got this paper that says it's my temporary license till it comes in the mail. So now I gotta go car shopping, and I'm shitting my pants about it because I want a Subaru Crosstrek, but they're fucking expensive. But I found a lot of different ones around here, but there's one that I really fucking want, but it's an hour away, so I don't know if I'm gonna be getting that one. But hopefully in like a week. But I know Labor Day, I googled it, Labor Day is really good to buy cars because apparently it's like a discount. So maybe I can go Labor Day if my sister will let me drive an hour. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it because I was scared out of my mind. But hopefully you learned something if you're trying to learn to drive. Go to a driving school first. Like, I'll recommend, if you're in New Jersey, I recommend All Jersey Driving School because they're really good and they helped me. And like, I don't think I could have done it without their help first and then my sister's help. But anyway, and go to Cherry Hill if you're in New Jersey because that shit was easy as fuck. Anyway, see you next time, hopefully with a car. Bye.